you're going to be left behind because there's going to be a bunch of people that are using it. There's going to be a bunch of people that will be able to outwork you. You cannot buy more hours in the day, but if you're using AI, AI can do what would take you hours in seconds or even minutes. Welcome to the Spinoso podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso, and my experiences in scaling all types of medical businesses to 7, 8, and 9 figures. And I'm sharing my journey with you. It's not a podcast telling you you should do this. I'm just telling you how I did this. And I hope that helps you in this process of life and in business. And today we're going to go into something that's been really a game changer in business and in my personal life, artificial intelligence. And this is a buzzword and everybody loves it. And, really it's funny because artificial intelligence that we use things for nowadays, it's not really artificial intelligence. It's really just a like research tool. It's like Google 2.0 essentially. And a lot of people are either completely freaked out about it, it's going to take over our lives and probably kill us, which you probably will. Because if you look at any AI based movie, it's always, hey, the AI protects the humans by making sure that they don't kill each other, which I think is a pretty good, noble thing. But today, Amanda and I are going to break down how we use AI, what we've seen work, what we haven't seen work, and how you can leverage it to really be more effective in your day to day life.
Absolutely. It's really crazy when you think about how fast AI has evolved. Like, some of the things that we're gonna talk about 6 months ago, like, we couldn't use, like,
Hmm.
the the telephones and
Yep.
stuff, like, it sounded robotic, and now it's, like, is very close to being, like, human-like. It's crazy how fast it's going. Um And really for the people that are not using it, you're basically choosing to work harder, than everyone else because there are some really great tools that help speed up the process and not change the way you do things, but it really helps make you like a sharper thinker and better planner and even just like more well-rounded in the sense of you think you get this basis of things that you hadn't thought about. And so, this we're going to dive into it and so we'll talk about some of those things, but to touch on some of the concepts from Ethan Mollick's book co-intelligence, which I think is a great way to state this because it's not like artificial intelligence. It's not artificial. There's nothing artificial about it, but it's co-intelligence, knowing how to use it so that it actually is super helpful in your life and working with it instead of fearing it. So let's dive into this one.
Absolutely. Let's start with efficiency. How has it made us more efficient, more productive, more effective? And the thing that you cannot do, no matter how wealthy you are, is buy time. You can't buy time. You can't. Elon Musk, richest man in the world, cannot buy a 25th hour in the day. However, he could hire a lot of people to work and do jobs that he used to do in all his businesses, all his employees, all his teammates. And that is essentially him multiplying his own time and then also buying back his time so he can focus on other things. So there's a huge difference between working hard and working smart. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. You are going to have to work hard, whether you fucking use AI or not. But AI really helps me do both at the same time at a higher level. So we'll use it for content creation. And when I mean content creation, guys, everybody knows if you say, hey, write a post for me, and then you copy and fucking paste it. When we talk about content creation, we're talking about, hey, what are some high level concepts as a medical business entrepreneur that we could talk about on podcasts? Or what are some posts that we should talk about or I should comment on? And then you write your own thing. So it's doing that for you, scanning the internet, seeing what's viral, seeing what's out there, and then giving you prompts based off that. Research, using it for, hey, compare these two different studies, research what's out there for X, Y, and Z. Um, I always use it to read contracts a lot of times because we do a lot of contracts and we have a lot of lawyers, and lawyers have lawyerisms and lawyery way of fucking saying things. And it might just say sign here, but they have a 12-word paragraph of, you know, explaining the words of sign here. It's really annoying. So I like to put it any contract, any document into the AI systems and say, "Hey, read this and tell me what it means at an 8th grade level," as if you were explaining it or teaching it to me. So that helps me get around those big words that I'm not a very smart guy. I'll get around those big words and figuring out, "Hey, look, I don't need to be a lawyer in order to read and understand what the lawyer is writing." Automating tasks, doing certain follow-ups, emails, posting, and then even brainstorming new things, new strategies. What are new concepts or procedures or things that are coming out that we should really be looking into, or ways of marketing that we should be looking into that helps us stay abreast of everything and ahead of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's you just said so much in there. I love it because, honestly, it's really about making the workflow smoother. Is like to take everything you just said, that's what I'm hearing. And there are so many ways to actually do that. Even there's a tool I sent you a link. Notion has an automated scheduler. So you put like your top tasks in there and then it scans your schedule and and you put in what the task is and then also the amount of time it's going to take you to complete it. And if it's longer than you can set it. So if it's longer than, let's say, a 30-minute or even an hour, if you want to work on something for an hour at a time, if it's longer than an hour, but it's like, let's say it's a 4-hour task, but you have your time set for an hour, it will break that task up into 4 sections, and it finds a spot on your calendar to put it on there. So it, like, essentially is a smart calendar. So all the tasks that you have to do get uploaded onto your calendar in the order that they need to be done, because you can put it in there, "I need to complete this before I complete this." So then the calendar knows, like, "Okay, well, then this task needs to go on there in these different segments on these days before you move on to this next one." It's really freaking cool. So it's really about structuring your time to be more efficient, which absolutely helps improve communication channels. If you, have a busy schedule, you have a lot of tasks that need to get done, it opens you up to be able to communicate, "Okay, well, this is what I have available," instead of being like, I'm not sure." So, it's really just about working in a more efficient manner, and AI definitely helps do that, and there's so many cool tools like the calendar rescheduling. And even from, like, a personal development standpoint, I think about writing. Sometimes if I'm writing an email and I feel like, "God, this email just is, like, off." There's something that, like, I'm not saying this clearly, I'm not bullet pointing this right, whatever it is, like, when I'm reading it, I'm like, "This is not as clear as I want it to be." I will take that and put it in Grammarly, make sure I've got all my grammar correct because I am not great at grammar. But then I hit the AI improvement function, and it goes through and it scans it and it, like, reformats what I'm saying. And then I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so much better than the way that I put it." So then I copy that and put that into the email. So, I mean, that's just another way from a personal development standpoint, getting better at my writing and getting better at my communication that is definitely helped me. Because seeing it rewrite it, I'm like, well, yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. So I'm not having it write the email for me. I'm writing the email, but I'm having it improve my writing and my communication. And it's just a great tool for that. Um, and so I would ask you, like, how do you feel like you've used this in your life and when it comes to business to be more excellent and well-rounded in all the things, all the many things that you are doing on a
Yeah,
daily basis?
I mean, just like you, when I'm writing emails, proposals, different updates or comments, I have AI do a quick review, like, and I prompt it. And after a while, I've talked to it for so much that it knows a lot about me. It knows a lot about Genesis. It knows our core values. It knows all that. So you could ask it anything about Genesis and it will pop out and tell you essentially on my computer because that's my system that I have. So I use it a lot. Hey, as co-founder and co-CEO of Genesis, I'm trying to write an email about yada yada. I want these elements inside of it. Make sure you incorporate the core values into it, etc. And it will blast out like a pretty good template, and then I just make it better on top of that. So it speeds those processes up and makes that faster. Responding to emails, even post captions, it'll give me some idea of a skeleton, and then I can add to it. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to replace you for now. It may in the future to be able to talk in your attitude and talk the way you do things and explain the way you do things, and it's getting better all the time. But really making sure that you're not just taking that and copying it and pasting it.
Mhm.
Take that and then refine it and make sure that it's the way you want it to be. It's you because again, everybody knows that if you copy and paste it, everybody knows it's Chat GPT or OpenAI or whatever. Everybody knows it's that. You can read it. It reads a certain way
Yeah.
and it's not authentic and it causes a lot of issues, but it will help you with the framework and getting things organized. And we do it a lot on data analysis too. I cannot wait until it really, really can do our financials.
Mm.
When they do the plugin for QuickBooks into the business and be able to review it as a CFO and then tell us, "Hey, you should look into this, this, and this in the future."
Whoa.
Oh, it's gonna be next level, and I know some businesses are already kinda doing that. We haven't been able to do it yet or integrate it yet, but I am pumped for that because I put spreadsheets in there, have it analyze, numbers, everything like that, and it is absolutely phenomenal because it saves me hours of time trying to stare at these things, figuring out all the different numbers. It does it in seconds, really, reviewing it. These are the trends, this is what's happening, and then it can build now, it could build those Excel sheets or, photos or anything like that that you can move and import into something else, which is really wild. So it's made my workflow much smoother. Draft presentations, content, even communications, it makes it much better. Like you said, sometimes I write an email that says, you motherfucker, I want to fucking choke you to death. And then you put in there, say, hey, make this nicer and bring my point across a little bit better. And it will do that for me. So it helps me with my emails being more professional as well, in the long run. So it makes you like a more well-rounded person because sometimes your attitude is not welcome. It's not going to be well, it may be welcome, but it's not going to be taken well in a lot of situations. So making sure that it makes you smarter and more effective and it saves you time in the business. And
Mhm.
if you're really serious about being the best version of yourself, I mean, the AI can really help you do that. It can help you summarize books. It can help you learn faster, make better decisions. A great podcast that I listen to is called Founders. Shout out to Founders. I hope they listen to this and then post me on their shit. They have a great following. All they do is talk about biographies and all different types of biographies. And on that, they have, again, an AI platform that they use called Sage, and
Mm.
so Sage has all these biographies and all these books and all this information and the works from, you know, Abraham Lincoln and Thomas Jefferson and, all these great leaders in history, and you can ask it questions, and you get all these different opinions based off of these past leaders.
Hmm.
What would Henry Ford say about this? And it will research all the things that Henry Ford wrote and, left for his kids and lessons and anything that he has and kinda give you an idea of what he would say. Obviously, it's not digging his fucking body up, but it's analyzing based off of all the stuff that's out there of these great leaders, what they would say about this. So it's almost having a mastermind with all these dead people and
That's
these
great.
great, great leaders that you can't ask them, what would, Martin Luther King say about this? What would Gandhi say about this? And again, I'm just throwing out the extreme examples that everybody knows about. But, there are millions of entrepreneurs and great leaders, you talk about the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Peppers, things like that that have created great, great businesses. And being able to take that and say, hey, what would this person say about this? Or how would this look to the top 10 CEOs in the country, et cetera, and being able to have it talk to you. I mean, that is phenomenal learning and just having your own um ability to make yourself better, becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, and we're talking about it from a business standpoint, but there, from like an outside of business standpoint, something I was just talking to your wife about was the AI interior design apps where you can take a picture of your room, whatever room you wanna design, and you have, like, 20 options if you want contemporary or if you want modern or boho or whatever, you can click those options and it kinda, like, resets the room for you. So I mean, it's like, okay, so when we think about, when and I have some fun with your wife buying things for your house,
Right? It's gonna be awesome. I'm
putting it
pumped
on
about it though.
putting on your credit card.
Right, right,
Um, but it's like, okay, that setup is ideal, like, we like how that looks. Now let's go source the couch or the chair or the rug, it's like you know what to look for. Um and I just think it makes it cool because like, AI comes up with some really cool shit you might not think about because it has the ability to scan everything that's out on the internet. So it's like, I maybe have never seen a wallpaper like that, but AI is like, "Hey, this is, a really cool wallpaper." It's like, "Well, we need to find that wallpaper." And so, yeah, so I mean, that's one way to use it, like, outside of business is like the design apps, which I'm a big fan of, so I'm excited to see what she pulls, from that. But another thing that we did use it for in business, which also was very cool, was to design the skincare line.
mhm,
Couple things I've done with the skincare line when it comes to AI. Brent had pulled images like, "Hey, here's some conceptual looks for a our initial line and then what that could look like as we expand into future products." And taking those images and going, "Okay, let's find the packaging that looks like that. Let's get a designer to make it look like that because it looks awesome." And and he specifically put in it, make something that is not currently available. So you can tell it like, "Hey, I don't want this to look like anything else."
right.
So, we got a really great design back from it, and then now we can go out and create it. And I think that's really cool. And then when it came to going through the clinicals, all the clinicals I mean, we have so many amazing ingredients in our products, but when those were sent to me from the chemist, my eyes were crossed. I was like, "I have no idea what this is saying," And so putting it in there and saying, "Hey, summarize this clinical data for me." Now I've got the key points and the benefits and the how to use and, what you can expect and all the things, So it's like when we got 10 different clinical trials backing one product, you got to summarize that stuff,
Right.
And so that's another way that I've really used it to summarize and get some data from it that's been super, super helpful. So, that's kind of like outside of the leadership standpoint, but just making life and business so much easier, um, has been a really cool tool.
Absolutely. No, it's here to help us. It's really here to increase our ability and our speed. And if you're not using it in business, if you're not using it in your home life, you're going to be left behind because there's going to be a bunch of people that are using it. There's going to be a bunch of people that will be able to outwork you. We talked about you cannot buy more hours in the day, but if you're using AI, AI can do what would take you hours in seconds or even minutes. So you're compressing time. And, the future of AI is human collaboration.
One of the lessons is really about the co-intelligence, which I touched on earlier, and that's the future. That's the future of AI. It's the human collaboration and going back to Ethan's book, and it's the whole premise is really about the fact it's not here to replace us, but work with us, and that's something to be excited about and not be fearful of. And I think the movies give this idea of what's gonna happen, and it's like, that's not where we're at. So, let's use this to better our lives instead of being afraid of something different. And he talks a lot about the that people will be able to thrive in the future, and it's not just it it's not just the AI tool, but it's knowing how to use it that's gonna make people think differently because of it. Um, and that's the real excitement around what AI brings to the table. And, for you, what do you feel like some of the key takeaways were from that book?
Yeah, really, it's not that AI is here to replace you again, but it's like having a whole bunch of interns at your fingertips, people who can work for you, do those lower level bucket jobs that are just research or data or searching for this or searching for that. But you have to guide it, you have to correct it, you have to refine it. And you can do 10 times more than you did before if you use it right. So people either trust AI too much and do everything that it says, everything that it does, they just copy and paste, or they don't trust it at all. But there's a balance where you have to use it as a collaborator. You have to apply your own judgment because AI is still built by humans to this point. Now, there's AI chips starting to build itself and quantum chips that are looking into possibly other now it's computing so fast that they think it's going out and computing in parallel universes to get an answer so fast. It's wild. It's like
Wow.
it's computing those things because the chips that we have currently don't make sense to be able to compute that fast. So they think it's looking at all the other realities in different universes, parallel universes, and then taking all those realities and computing based off that. I know it's wild. It's like, how can you do that? How can a fucking chip do that? Do not know, but things are getting faster and faster and faster. And
Mm,
you have to remember that you have to still apply your own judgment when using your AI. You still have to make sure that what you're putting in there is really the output you want to get and audit that.
mhm. Well, it's about being creative. It's really the curiosity in using AI that makes it the most powerful anyway, because the quality I there's a this is a quote by someone, "The quality of the answers you get will be determined by the quality of the questions you ask." And I don't know who said that, but I do know that that is a common quote, and so, that also makes me think a lot about, you know, being really curious about life, but in the sense of AI, it's the same. And it's like the more specific you are with your questions, the more creative you are with your questions, the better results you're gonna get with AI. Um, and that's the reward for thinking outside of the box, obviously, it's like, cool, like, the more open-ended I am in my question with this, it's gonna reply with something that I'm not even thinking about. And just not being basic in your questions because you're not gonna get the full power of what AI has to offer if it's basic, because then you're just kinda Googling.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, not that's not using it to its full capacity.
Yeah. And people say, "Well, if I use AI, won't I lose my originality?" No, because you're the one, like you said, you're the one asking the questions. You're the one guiding it. So it's gonna answer you in a way that you would want the answer presented. And after a while, it's going to write things and say things in a way you would write things and the way you would say things. It's just a tool. It's not a replacement for your creativity. And the real power is being able to use it. Get in there, test it, ask it questions, respond you know, because it'll give you a framework and a starting point for where you wanna go, but it's still your experience. You still have to plug things in. You still have to work with it, and so it's still going to allow you to be creative. It's still going to allow you to be an individual. It's just going to multiply that ability.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think about, we use it in the clinics, free AI, when they're in consultations. You turn on this HIPAA compliant app while you're in a consultation, it takes notes, it summarizes, and then our providers can copy and paste into the notes for the client, and it's like, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Instead of trying to write things down or reword things or, if you're like me, spelling something wrong and having to go correct it, like, while you're typing,
Yep.
you don't have to do any of that. You can really be connected and present with the client, let it do the hard work, and then you copy and paste. So there's like human error is minimized in those types of situations, which is great in our business. It makes the provider's time so much more efficient,
Yeah,
even in the office.
absolutely.
And they're not doing things that they, don't need to be doing.
But you're right, like you know, recapping everything we talked about, AI is here to stay. It's going to grow. It's exploding like crazy. All these companies out there that are making these chips, NVIDIA, massive company, XI that Elon Musk had just launched is the most powerful AI out there, and they're going public. There's so many things where AI will make you more efficient. It'll make you more effective. It'll make you more creative. So use it as a tool. It's not a crutch. Don't let it think for you. Use it to enhance your own thinking, use it to enhance your own skills. And again, people who know how to think critically and ask those better questions and refine AI's output will be the ones who really, really win big.
Yeah, if you're not using it, you're falling behind. People are gonna speed up, go faster, go further. And I also have to add this. I feel like too, yes, you will be more efficient with getting things done. That also buys you time to maybe enjoy some things instead of working all day long. You get more done in less time, and then you can be with your families or you can do things that, fill you up or grow personal growth. I mean, when you think about the benefit of what this could create for your life, it's deeper than just like getting more work done, like our culture sometimes like, let
Yeah.
me get more work done.
Right.
Yeah, this is great. I'm
Right.
going to get more work done.
Yeah.
Yes, you are gonna get more work done in less time. It's gonna be even better, but then what that does is it frees you up to enjoy some of the other things that life has to offer, like friends and family and travel and stuff like that.
100%. Being busy is not the same fucking thing as being effective. It's not. So, guys, that's all we have for you today. We're not AI experts, but some insights as to everything we talk about or we use. If you want to learn and grow more with your medical clinic, go to joincharismatics.com. We talk about stuff like this, AI, how we use AI in Genesis in our other companies. Um, and really excited to talk to you about guys about that and you see on the inside of that. As always, like, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs it, and we'll see you next time.